hear people ask, is listening to an audiobook reading? And the short answer is no, but yes also. It depends on how annoying you want to be with your definition of the word reading. The real question we should be asking is, given humans' long-standing oral storytelling traditions, does looking at a text count as experiencing a story? But more on that in a minute. People who argue staunchly for either point, yes or no, are talking past one another because they're defining reading differently. Listening to a narrative is obviously not the same as consuming a text with your eyeballs. They're different physical actions, and one is generally regarded as more active in that you are grappling with ingesting the words visually. The other one is often considered more emotive in that you have inflection, performance, and sometimes music. Some people have a problem with audiobooks because they feel that people just aren't putting in the right amount of effort to read, that it should require more, and that you may not be letting things sink in enough. And I understand that to some extent, but you're just not going to be able to police everyone's level of effort when it comes to consuming literally the exact same word-for-word text. Would you rather they not engage with it at all? Because if so, straight to jail. You are not worthy of Bokala. Also, this exact same thing happens with eyes on text reading. It's called skimming. This brings me to my oral storytelling point. The question of, does consuming a text with your eyes on the page count as experiencing a narrative isn't some bullshit postmodernist gotcha. I'm basing this question on how humans have historically experienced stories, because we have a significantly longer oral storytelling tradition, longer than we've even had written language. Reading quietly to yourself is new, like really, really new, from around the 17th century onward. Back in the day, even if you had scrolls or tablets or books, you'd often have someone read them to you. The storyteller gave a charm to the story, a life to it. They had certain inflections. It was often experienced communally. A lot of the feeling here could get lost when something is written down. So then, one could make the argument, are you truly experiencing the full narrative? When we read the plays of Sophocles or Shakespeare, do those not count? Obviously they do. I hope I'm making my point clear. Things are lost and gained with every medium, but ultimately, if you are defining reading as having consumed the text, yes, obviously audiobooks count. Like if someone listens to Red Rising and is asked, have you read this book? What they're being asked is, have you consumed this text? It makes zero sense for them to say, no, I haven't, but I've listened to it, because everyone would go, wow, how annoying. What a meaningless distinction. In the end, I feel like I see more audiobook people asking this question, because what they're really asking when they go, do audiobooks count as reading, is, am I part of the club? Am I a fellow book person? And the answer to that is yes. If you like ancient history, particularly ancient Mesopotamia and fantasy, I have a series called The Imposter King that you might like, which you can find in my bio, and which is available in audiobook, ebook, and paperback formats. The audiobook for the third one is actually coming out a little bit later this year. Very exciting. And so I can't wait to share more about that when the time comes.